This is merely an opinion. I will respect your opinion as long as you respect mine. Thank you and enjoy. I enjoyed the Canadian Prairies' opinion on Twilight. Personally, I don't like Twilight. The characters are uninteresting and not very pleasant for me. Bella is unpleasant, as both a female lead and a character. She is incredibly codependent and has little definition as a character. Edward appears to be the antithesis of loving, instead being cold, unresponsive, and monotonous. As for Jacob Black, I cannot say I have much of any opinion in his character. I can't really commentate on a character I have no major opinion about. On top of the characters being unappealing, the story is boring and slow. Little is accomplished. Most of the story is just Bella lusting after Edward, with little action otherwise. The language in this book is odd and shows that Stephanie Meyer is quite amateur in her writing. The book focuses too much on insignificant details such as how the male characters look. Too much time is spent describing the characters, as opposed to furthering the story. In another note, the story drags on and gets bogged down by the lack of plot advancement. Also, when the Canadian Prairies mentioned the names of female literary characters, I also thought of female characters from other mediums who are more palatable due to their lack of perfection. Since anime and manga are medium I'm familiar with, one individual I thought of was Usagi Tsukino, Sailor Moon. Usagi is constantly torn between her responsibilities as a superheroine and enjoying her youth. She doesn't have the best judgment or the most likable personality, but that's the way a young teenager acts oftentimes. On top of all this, Usagi had the traumatic experience of watching each of her friends suffer and die during the events of episode 45. Later, she is attacked by a possessed Tuxedo Mask, who later dies, which upsets her further. While her friends and Tuxedo Mask came back to life, she still went through true hardship in the form of her friends slowly dying and her crush attacking her, unlike Bella, whose only hardship was very minor. I could go on, but I want to keep this about Twilight and not make it a Bella vs Sailor Moon video. That's my, not so, brief response to the Canadian Prairies' review on Twilight. Goodbye.